Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole. Welcome to Yahoo Sports, and I'm bringing back one of the big fighters in the world. On September 17th, you will see him fight Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed super middleweight championship. Of course, I'm talking about Gennadiy Golovkin. Champ, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great. I feel great. Amazing.
You've been at this for a couple months now. Super middleweight debut is very close. What has training camp taught you about the difference in fighting at middleweight compared to fighting at super middleweight?
Да, новая весовая категория, это абсолютно правильно. Со своими нюансами, со своими корректировками.
Indeed, it's a new weight division for me, and there are certain nuances, and we are making appropriate adjustments. My focus is on heavy training and my experience. I think the difference would be in making this weight. So I feel very comfortable making 160 for that. From time to time, I will have probably this weight-bearing suit a couple times, while for 168, there is a chance that they will not need it.
Interesting. Gennadiy, is there a motivational factor in the fact that you have in front of you a guy that people think is one of the best fighters in the world, as opposed to someone, you're a 15 to 21 favorite to beat? Now you have a guy that a lot of people think is going to beat you, right? He has a win over you. Do you feel like that's a motivating factor and will bring out the best in you and does it make it easier to train given those circumstances?
Да, давайте назовем это мотивацией. То есть,
Yes, I would agree that there is a motivational factor because it just you see it as a challenge to yourself, and it speaks about how in demand you are, that you're getting this fight against one of the best fighters, and is probably the best fight in boxing right now. And of course, you're ready to accept this challenge, and it motivates you. Yes.
You were about 10 years in, I think maybe a little longer than 10 years into fighting in the United States. You came over in 2012 and you fought Gregor Prohaska in your debut on HBO. When you look back on that 10 years, are you happy? Did you accomplish everything you wanted to do? Did you exceed your expectations? Are there things that you feel like still are to be done that you haven't hit yet?
безусловно, я очень доволен той своей карьеры, которую я имею, да, уже за плечами, теми результатами.
I'm very happy with my career. I'm very happy with the results I achieved during my time here. And I've been the world champion since 2010, and this is satisfying, to say the least. And of course, there is always a desire to get more, to try some things. But on the other hand, I'm very comfortable with what I got, and I have 3 belts in the middleweight division, and this is just great.
Your trainer, Jonathan Banks, made what I thought was an interesting comment to Ring Magazine. He was talking about comparing your third fight with Canelo to the third fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And he, talked about how that was a brutal, violent fight. And while he didn't expect it to be quite as brutal as that he thought it was going to be more of a brutal and violent fight than it was the first 2 times. Those were both great fights. So what do you see being the difference? And do you agree with him that this fight is going to be more brutal?
Я думаю, что Джонатан, он всегда может, как говорится, разогреть бой, и у него в данный момент лучше получается, чем у
I'm sure that Jonathan can heat things up better than many promoters, including Eddie Hearn. And I'm also certain that it's going to be a very interesting fight. There'll be a lot of tension, and I'm just urging you not to miss the fight. Just watch the fight.
I hope I'll be there. Let me ask you this, Gennadiy. Then, your first 2 fights had huge gates. Both of them sold over 1 million on pay-per-view. I think one of them had 27 million, which is the 3rd or 4th biggest gate in the history of boxing. An amazing thing. Is there an adjustment to those kind of atmospheres? Like, does it take a while to get used to fighting in that atmosphere? And does having done that now maybe give you, make it a little easier for you this time going into a pressure pack fight?
Ну, эмоция одна, наверное, больше надежды. Так как я являюсь большим фанатом бокса, да, то есть
I would say that being a big fan of boxing, I have high hopes that this fight is an opportunity to bring boxing back to the high level it deserves. Those fights were on HBO. There was different times, different approach, and when HBO decided not to continue supporting that, new companies appeared with different vision. They made a number of mistakes, and I hope that this fight is an opportunity to bring boxing back to its heights it deserves, and thanks rather to the investments, to selection of judges, to selections of like many components that are required.
I think Gennadiy boxing is doing great now. There's a lot of great young fighters. There's been a lot of great fights. And one of the great things about boxing has been your reign as a middleweight champion. And I want to ask you for my final question, what are you most proud of as you go up in weight? What are you most proud of about your middleweight championship reign? Is there something that sticks out to you that you tell family and friends, this is what I'm most proud of having done?
очень доволен тем, что я нахожусь в среднем весе на протяжении долгого времени и являюсь чемпионом. Меня это очень радует, потому что я знаю, я всегда был фанатом среднего веса, ну вот, да, плюс.
I'm very happy and I'm proud of being a champion in the middleweight division for such a long period of time. I have always been interested in the middleweight division and like adjacent divisions. I followed legendary champions, and I have a number of achievements that I'm really proud of. I'm in the Guinness Book of Records for the largest percentage of knockouts in the middleweight division. I have the record number of title defenses, and I'm the most avoided boxer in the middleweight division. This is something that makes me proud, makes me excited, and I think that yeah, those achievements in the middleweight divisions, yeah, this is great. This is something that makes me proud, and I hope it will make my children proud as well.
Well, I said that was the last question, but let me follow up with one more on that then, Gennadiy, because you said you're a student of the middleweight division especially. I always contended there's been a lot of great middleweights, Carlos Monzon, Bernard Hopkins, Marvin Hagler. I still contend to this day that the greatest middleweight of all time is Sugar Ray Robinson. And I wonder who you think is the greatest middleweight ever.
Безусловно, у каждого времени есть свой герой. Как можно выделить, да, вот взять Карлоса Монсона или Шуга Рэй Робинсона, или взять того же...
I think that there are heroes of their times, and you just cannot put them in a particular order. It just would not be right. How can you put one over each other when you talk about Carlos Monzon, when you talk about Sugar Ray Robinson, when you think about Marvin Hagler and his fight with Sugar Ray Leonard, and it would just not be right. I think the fans would understand me.
I think you have a career as a politician, Gennadiy, when you're done boxing. Appreciate it.
I learned.
September 17th on DAZN in Las Vegas, Gennadiy Golovkin against Canelo Alvarez for the super middleweight championship of the world. Gennadiy, thank you. And Konstantin, thank you as well.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you,
guys.
Anytime, sir.